Paramatmani Namaham. Namaste devotees and Jai Sita Ram. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to our Sunday morning satsang this beautiful August 8th, 2021. Before we commence with our puja for this morning, everybody, I ask that you join together with me as we chant this very beautiful bhajan, taking some time to go ahead and clear all the thoughts from your mind as we begin to focus for our puja for today. सूरज चमकाने भगवान भक्त खरे हमरा दिखा भगवान राह दिखारे करम करम पर किरण बिछारे भगवान किरण बिछारे इन अज्ञान को प्रभु करारे इन अज्ञान को प्रभु करारे ज्योति से पहचान से पहचाना जिंदगी में है हम इंसान ज्ञान का सूरज चमका दे भगवान संतान तिहारे प्रभु संतान तिहारे तेरे दया के हम अधिकारे प्रभु है हम अधिकारे दुनिया होए सुखी हमारे दुनिया होए सुखी हमारे सारे वरदान सारे वरदान आज अंधेरे में है हम इंसान ज्ञान का सूरज चमका दे भगवान At this time, devotees, I ask that you join together with me as you go ahead and clasp your hands and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, relax your spine, your shoulders, your neck, and your forehead. With your eyes closed, take this time to focus on a form of Bhagwan that's most pleasing to you, one that helps you focus, one that helps you concentrate. And join together with me as we chant these opening prayers. Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Ishavasyam Miram Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tyaktina Bhunjita Magrudhakasya Swidhanam Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanam Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. At this time, devotees, I ask that we all join together as we commence in chanting the most powerful Gayatri Mantra. Om Lakshe Vardhe Devi Akshare Brahmavarini गायत्री जगत मातारे विश्वयोनि नमोस्तुते ॐ भूर्भुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् हरि ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम प्रेम से बोलो गायत्री माता की जय. As we continue on, devotees, we offer prayers so that remover and destroyer of all obstacles in our life. We offer prayers to Lord Ganesh. Om Shri Ganapataye Namah. Om Jananam Bhuta Ganadhi Sevitam Kapita Jambu Palacharabhakshanam Umasutam Shoka Vinashakarikam Namami Viganeshwara Pankajam Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabham Nirviganam Kurme Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Om Raksha Raksha Ganadaksha Raksha Trailokya Rakshakar Bhaktanam Bhayam Karta Trata Bhava Bhavaravad Om Shriman Mahaganadhipate Namaham. Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Deva Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Maha Deva Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Deva Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva Ladvanaka Bhunga Lage Santa Kare Seva Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Deva Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Deva Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva Ekarantadaya Antachara Bhuja Bhari Mate ke sindur sohe musake sawari Dukhiyo ke dukha harta paramananda de Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Deva Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Bandhana ko aanka dete Kuriyan ko kaya Bhanjan ki putra dete Nirdhan ko maya Bhav se par karo naat bhajan karo Tera Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Deva Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva. ध्यान करो ज्ञान मिले उसको छोड़ तुझे और भल जाओ मैं किसको तेरे व कृपा करो कष्ट हरो मेरा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाकी पार्वती देवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा. ओम श्रीमन महागणाधिपतये नमः. प्रेम से बोलो गणेश भगवान की जय. At this time, devotees, for those of us who have started school, for those of us who are going into new ventures in life, whether that be new jobs, interviewing for new jobs, for those of us who are moving on to something new, educational, that requires focus and attention, like learning to drive for the first time, we take some time in our day to offer prayers to that mother of knowledge and learning, that mother of clarity of mind, that mother of wisdom, that mother of music. We offer prayers to Saraswati. Om Saraswati Mahabhagi Vidye Kamala Luchini Vidyarupe Vishalakshi Vidham Dehi Namostute. Om Saraswati Namastubhyam Varare Kama Rupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Om Mahasaraswati Namah. Prem se bolo Saraswati Mata ki jai. Next, devotees, we offer prayers and obediences to that universal mother and that destroyer of all evils in our life and in this universe. We join together as we offer prayers to Adi Shakti and Durga Mata. Om Mahadurgaye Namaha. Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhandra Kali Kapalini Durga Kshama Shiva Dhatri Swaha Swadha Namostute. Jai Tvam Devi Chamunde Jai Bhutbharati Nihardini Jai Sarvagati Devi Kalaratri Namostute. Adevi Sarvabhuteshu Vishnu Maiti Shamnita. Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya. Devi Sarvabhuteshu Buddhi Rupena Samsnita. Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya. Devi Sarvabhuteshu Lakshmi Rupena Samsnita. Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya. Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samsnita. Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya. Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shraddha Rupena Samstita. Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya. Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti Rupena Samstita. Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya. Devi Sarvabhuteshu Tushti Rupena Samstita. Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya. Devi Sarvabhuteshu Daya Rupena Samstita. Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya. Devi Sarvabhuteshu Matri Rupena Samstita. Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. As we pray to Mother Durga, we say, Oh, Durga Mata, Thou art the universal Mother, and we, your children, worship you in your many forms. O Ma, we see you as Buddhi, wisdom, Lakshmi, prosperity, Shakti, energy, Shraddha, faith, Shanti, peace, Tushti, contentment, Daya, compassion, and Matri as the universal Mother. And as we pray to you, O Ma, Namastasye, 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 Namo Namah, as we pray to you, O Ma, we bow to thee again and again. Dehi Sambhagyam Narogyam Dehi me Parabam Sukham Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yesho Dehi Dvasho Jahi. Om Prem Swarvari Shakti Durga Mata ki jai. As we continue on with our prayers, devotees, we offer obediences to that sustainer of all things dharmic, all things righteous in this universe. We offer prayers to Lord Vishnu. Om Shri Vishnu Namaha. Om Shantakaram Mujagashairam Padmanabham Surisham Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrasham Meghuvaranam Shubhanam. Om Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanairam Yogi Bhera Dhyana Gamyam Vande Vishnu Bhavaya Haram Sarvaloke Kanatam. Om Sashanka Chakram Sakirita Kunhalam Sapita Vastram Sarasiruhekshanam. Sahara Vakshastala Shobhikostumbha Shriyam. Namami Vishnu Shirasa Chaturbhujam. Namami Vishnu Shirasa Chaturbhujam. Prem se bolo Vishnu Bhagwan ki jai. And finally, devotees, we offer prayers to that universal Father and that universal Guru. We offer prayers to that destroyer of all evils in our life and in this universe. We join together as we offer prayers to Lord Shiva. Om संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि ॐ नमः शिवाय ब्रह्ममुरारिसुरार्चितलिङ्गं गिरमलभासितशोभितलिङ्गं जनमजदुःखविनाशकलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि देवमुनिपरवरलिङ्गं कामदहं करुणाकरलिङ्गं रावणदर्पविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् सर्वसुगन्धिसुलेपितलिङ्गं बुद्धिविवर्धनकारणलिङ्गं सिद्धसुरवन्दितलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं कनकमहामणिभूषितलिङ्गं फणिपतिवेष्टितशोभितलिङ्गं भक्षसुयज्ञविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं कुङ्कुमचन्दनलेपितलिङ्गं पङ्कजहारसुशोभितलिङ्गं सञ्चितपापविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं देवगणार्चितसेवितलिङ्गं भावभक्तिभिरेव च लिङ्गं दिनकरकोटिप्रभाकरलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा अष्टररोपरिवेष्टितलिङ्गं सर्वसमूलभवकारणलिङ्गम् अष्टदारिद्र्यविनाशितलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं सुरगुरुसुरवरपूजितलिङ्गं सुरवरपुष्पसदार्चितलिङ्गं परमात्मकलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् लिङ्गष्टकम् इदं पुण्यं यः पतेत् शिवसन्निधौ शिवलोकमवाप्नोति शिवेन सह मूढे ॐ नमः शिवाय. Devotees, we offer this next prayer for all those suffering from various illnesses, diseases, injuries, and ailments. We ask that they may have a fast, speedy, and full recovery. We also offer a prayer for those transitioning from this world to the next. May their passage be a smooth and tranquil. Trayambakam yajamahe suhandhim pushrivarnhanam urvarukamiv vandanat mrityormukshyo mamrutat. Om Trayambakam yajamahe पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनात् मृत्युर्मुक्ष्यो मामृतात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनात् मृत्युर्मुक्ष्यो मामृतात् ॐ गणपते नमः ॐ कार्तिकेय नमः ॐ नन्दीश्वराय नमः ॐ वासुकिये नमः ॐ श्री सांब सदा शिवाय नमः प्रेम से बोलो शिव शंकर भगवान की जय. Devotees, once again, I'd like to thank Uncle Walter and Auntie Sarani for recording a bhajan and sending it in for us to listen to live here on our virtual Sunday morning satsang. So we'll pan over and then we'll listen to the song and then we'll be right back with our sermon.
दयाबान प्रभु को भुला देने वाले, दयाबान प्रभु को भुला देने वाले, आखिर सिरा क्या सीता ना बनेगा, आएगा झगड़े भोला बाबा से, कोई ना कोई को बहाना बनेगा, दयाबान प्रभु को भुला देने वाले, आखिर सिरा क्या सीता ना बनेगा. जो प्रेम तुझको लुटाना का प्रभु प्रेम, वो प्रेम तुमने लुटाया का जग में. जो प्रेम तुझको लुटाना का प्रभु प्रेम, वो प्रेम तुमने लुटाया का जग में. आएगा एक दिन ऐसा भी होगा, आएगा एक दिन ऐसा भी होगा, दुश्मन से राये जमाना बनेगा, दयाबान प्रभु को भुला देने वाले, आखिर सिरा क्या सीता ना बनेगा. करना कचिर है भक्ति की राहों पे, चलना का दिन है उन्हीं को मिलेंगे. करना कचिर है भक्ति की राहों पे, चलना का दिन है उन्हीं को मिलेंगे. ईश्वर की भक्ति जो दिल से प्रभु का, ईश्वर की भक्ति जो दिल से प्रभु का, दीवाना बनेगा दीवाना बनेगा. दयाबान प्रभु को भुला देने वाले, आखिर सिरा क्या सीता ना बनेगा, आखिर सिरा क्या सीता ना बनेगा.
Sita Ram, devotees, and again, I'd like to thank Uncle Walter and Auntie Sarani for recording in and sending that very beautiful bhajan for us to listen to during our virtual Sunday morning satsangs. Devotees, I'll talk a little bit more about this at the end of our service for today, but with the spread of the Delta variant of COVID-19 and the increase of case numbers that we're seeing across the nation, we won't be opening Mandir for some time. We're still assessing everything week by week. So for those of you who want to contribute to our virtual Sunday morning services by singing a bhajan, by saying a speech, by recording pretty much anything, whether it be a dance or words of wisdom or words of encouragement for those out there, or even if it's an email that you want to draft, sent to me and I can read out here during virtual Sunday morning service, please do so. I encourage the community to continue to connect this way. Call each other if you can when you have time, check up on one another, but also send some stuff in for us to listen to. You can either email it to Shiv Shakti Mandir ga@gmail.com. That's this email right down here, this email address right down here, or you can text it to me, give me a call if you have my number, and we can get it on to our virtual Sunday morning satsangs that way. But again, thank you to Uncle Walter and Auntie Sarani. Devotees, before we continue on with our sermon for today, for those of us who have a guru, I ask that we join together as we offer a prayer to our gurus. If not, then I ask that you take Lord Shiva or any devata in your mind that you so choose to as your universal guru, as we join together and pray. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Dhyana Moolam Guru Murati Puja Moolam Guru Param Mantra Moolam Guru Mahyam Moksha Moolam Guru Kripar Prem se Guru Deo Ki Jai. Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna 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 Sharanam Mama. To sum up last week's sermon, devotees, we started on verse 19 through 28 of chapter 18 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And verse 19 sums up the entire sermon. Bhagavan Shri Krishna is telling Arjuna about the three modes of material nature. And he says to Arjuna, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Jnanam Karma Chakarta Cha Trihevam Medata Prochate Guna Samdhyane Yata Vachtrumutan Yapi Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. We ended on verse 28, verses 20 through 28, but to sum it all up, last week, Bhagavan Shri Krishna was telling Arjuna about the three different modes of material nature. In verse 19, he says, according to the three different modes of material nature, there are three kinds of knowledge, three kinds of action, and three kinds of performers of action. And if you want to know more about that, devotees, you can either go open up your Bhagavad Gita, read those verses, or you can listen to the sermon that's been recorded and uploaded to YouTube from last week. But we ended on verse 29, devotees. After Bhagavan Shri Krishna talked about those three modes and the three kinds of knowledge, action, and performer, he wants us to consider and understand that there's still things that we have to know about the three modes of material nature in regards to components of our own lives. In verse 29, Bhagavan Shri Krishna tells Arjuna, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Buddhir Bedam Tritischeva Gunatastre Vidam Srunu Prochamanam Asensena Pratatvenananjaya Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. So we're moving on to the next part of chapter 18. Verse 29, Bhagavan Shri Krishna tells Arjuna, O winner of wealth, now please listen as I tell you in detail of the three different kinds of understanding and determination according to the three modes of material nature. So we talked earlier about knowledge, action, and performer in relation performer of action in relation to Sattva Guna, Tama Guna, and Raja Guna, which would be goodness, ignorance, and passion. Or goodness, passion, and ignorance. And now he wants us to know about understanding and determination. There's two different ways in the modes of material nature that understanding and determination work, devotees. I do apologize. Sorry about that. So a few things that Bhagavan Shri Krishna wants us to know. So in verses 30 through 32, he begins to explain to Arjuna very specifically and in detail about the understanding person and what someone who understanding is like in the three modes of material nature. He goes on to tell Arjuna, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Pravrittim Cha Nivrittim Cha, Karya Karye Bhayam Bhaye, Bandham Muksam Chaya Veti, Mulhi Saparata Satviki, Vyaya Charamam Adharamam Cha, Karyam Cha Karyam Eva Cha, Ayantavat Prajanati, Mulhi Saparata Rajasi, Adharamam Haramam Ittiya, Manyate Tamasamrita, Saravatana Viparitamscha, Mulhi Saparata Tamasi, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Bhagavan Shri Krishna goes on to talk about the three modes of understanding in relation to Sattva Guna, Raja Guna, and Tama Guna. In verse 30, he says, O son of Prem, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of goodness. O son of Preta, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between actions that should be done and actions that should not be done, is in the mode of passion. And that understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion, under the spell of illusion and darkness, and strives always in the wrong direction, O Parita, is in the mode of ignorance. So to break each one of these down, devotees, the first one, which we talk about Sattva Guna, understanding on Sattva Guna, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done. I know as we live our lives, we get put in those predicaments where we have to ask ourselves, what is the right thing to do? Or should I do this? Or should I do that? But somebody who's truly balanced in life will perform an action without having to think twice about it. They'll perform an action without having to think twice about it. Sometimes you see this in movies or you hear it in the news about, there's a child that is in the middle of the street or somebody fell into the subway and somebody leaps in to save that person, goes down and out of the way, risking their own lives to save that person. That person is a balanced person. That's Sattva Guna. That is someone who knows what needs to be done, what's the right thing that needs to be done, and doesn't have to think about it multiple times. They know what is to be feared and what is not to be feared. At no point does Bhagavan Shri Krishna ever say that you shouldn't be afraid necessarily of certain things, because there are things in this world that we should be afraid of. But he says that it's one person who knows what is to be feared and what is not to be feared. So if you're in your room, actually better example, this morning Serena and I woke up and we took Bella for a walk. We take her for a walk every early Sunday morning before we get other things done, just to get her energy out. I had a bag of apple slices with me, because I use those as training rewards for Bella when we're walking her. And what happens when I open up that bag of apple slices? I get swarmed by bees. There's a bunch of bees at this park. And so me, being the squeamish person that I am, freak out. I'm like, no, get the bees away from me. I'm trying to run away from these, get away from the bees. What do I have to be afraid of? A small sting? I'm not allergic. If I get stung, what'll happen? All I have to do is put something on it to remove that stinger. I've got lotion, I've got medication. So should I be fearful of that bee? should you be fearful of that bug that's walking in front of you? What is it that I need to fear, or what is it that I don't need to fear? A person who has good understanding knows what I need to fear and what I don't need to fear. And then they also know binding and what is liberating. So what keeps me attached to this world and what frees me from this world? What keeps me bound to this world and what frees me from this world? He said it early in one of the chapters. One of the most freeing things we could do, devotees, and I'll give you two examples. Two of the most freeing things we could do. Number one is meditating. And that is difficult. It is true, it is difficult. But it's something that frees us from this world because it allows our mind and our body to not be attached to the physical surroundings. It lets us tap into our innermost Atma, our innermost soul, and try to reach moksha, or reach that level of Bhagwan that we can't do when all of our senses are inundated. So that's one thing we can do to remove binding that helps us liberate. Another thing that removes binding from this world and helps us liberating is breathing. I have a lot of friends who have told me this week that they're getting ready to go to job interviews, which is a good thing because the pandemic has been hard on them and hard on their families and hard on a lot of people. And they're getting ready to go back into the workforce and they have interviews this week. So they said, what is one piece of advice you can give me? And I said, that one piece of advice that I can give you is to breathe. It's to stop. It's to take your time. Breathing is very important. Somebody asks you a question and you don't know the answer, at least immediately. So what should you do? Blabber out the first thing that comes to mind? Absolutely not. If somebody says something or asks you a question, free yourself from the situation. Take some time. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. And that's a good 3 seconds of your life that you got to think. That's why breathing is so important, because it allows us to pause and enjoy the moment, be in the moment, think about the moment, understand the moment. So someone who knows what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done, who knows what needs to be feared and not needs to be feared, and who knows what is binding versus liberating in the world, that is a Sattva Guna person. A person who's Rajaguna, a person who's in the mode of passion, has understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion. So they don't know what is right for our religion, they don't know what's wrong for our religion. They don't know what's, the correct way to do things. Maybe because they've been told one specific way and they follow the way without actually reading the scriptures to understand. Between action that should be done and action that should not be done, it's somebody who's indecisive. Instead of understanding what they need to do in this life, they debate back and forth. I could do this, I could do this. And what do? Serena and I started watching a show on Netflix called Never Have I Ever. It's about an Indian girl growing up in America. Her father passed away, and that's the beginning of the show. And so it's her trying to understand how to live in life, and she's always debating with herself, what should I do or what shouldn't I do? And in one episode, they decide to write a pros and cons chart about who she should date. So rather than kind of understanding where she should go, what her path in life is, she had to write out this really long pros and cons chart because she was very indecisive. So that one's someone who's in the mode of passion, because they don't really, know exactly what they want to do, where they want to go, how they want to get something, how they want to achieve something. So try to work your best to be more decisive, devotees, is essentially what Bhagwan Shri Krishna is saying. And then lastly, he says, for those that are tamaguna, those who are living in the mode of ignorance, that understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion. So where you consider irreligion to be religion, which is, I don't know, not coming and praying on a Sunday morning, disturbing people, potentially eating meat, or considers religion to be irreligion, so the way we worship and the way we faith is wrong. Under the spell of illusion and darkness, and strives always in the wrong direction, someone who's always making the wrong choices in life. Always making the wrong choices is the person who's in the mode of ignorance. Now, I want you to understand this because I was speaking to a friend of mine about this specific verse and what Bhagwan Shri Krishna meant by always and strives always in the wrong direction. If you are a person who consistently makes mistakes, or if you're, let's say, a clumsy person, you keep tripping over something, that doesn't necessarily make you a person that always goes in the wrong direction, because he's very specific here. Strives always in the wrong direction, always chooses the wrong path. We have choices in life we need to make. We have choices in life we need to make. But it's up to us to open our eyes to the truth, to what's right. Not to what we want the most, but what is going to be the right thing to do. Going on a diet is a very great example. You have a bowl of ice cream on one side, and you have a bowl of fruit on the other. Which is the right direction to go to? I guarantee you, for me, it's going to be that bowl of ice cream. That's what I'm going to deem as the right direction, when I know, in fact, it's the wrong direction. And why is it the wrong direction? Both of those bowls contain something with sugar in them. One of them contains a meal that has a ton of added sugar, a ton of dairy, a ton of cholesterol, saturated fat, and things that are not good for my heart and body. The other one is a bowl that has sugar that is naturally produced, that synchronizes well with the body, that is wholesome, that is pure, that is fulfilling, that won't cause my blood pressure to increase, that won't give me cholesterol problems. It may spike my blood sugar a little bit, but that's what sugary fruits do sometimes. So what's the right direction to go? And if I'm always choosing that bowl of ice cream, I'm choosing to go in the wrong direction every single time. And that leaves me in a mode of ignorance, because I'm ignoring the beneficial things in my life. So those are the modes of understanding that Bhagavan Shri Krishna wants us to know about. But then he says that there's two things that we have to know about. There's not only understanding, but there's determination, and how those relate to the three modes of material nature. He goes on further to tell Arjuna, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Dhrityaya Dharayati Mana Pranena Driya Kriya Yoghena Vyabhicharinya Dhritti Saparta Sattviki Yaya Tu Dharma Paramartan Dhrityanharayate Arjuna Prasangina Palatansi Dhritti Saparta Rajasi Yaya Swapnam Bhayam Sokam Isadam Madhum Evacha Nabdinu Chakti Durmedha Dhritti Saparta Tamasi Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Bhagavan Shri Krishna goes on to tell about determination, and how determination is affected, or how we determine things based off the three modes of material nature. So again, Sattva Guna, which is goodness, Raja Guna, which is passion, and Tama Guna, which is ignorance. He goes on in verse 33 to say, O son of Pratha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, life, and senses, is determination in the mode of goodness. But that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna. And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion, such unintelligent determination, O son of Pratha, is in the mode of darkness. It's in the mode of darkness. So breaking each one of these down, devotees, breaking each one of these down. In the mode of goodness, it's determination which is unbreakable. How determined are you to do something? How determined are you to do something? Ask yourself that. If somebody tells you something along the way of you performing something, and that prevents you to stop doing what you're doing, does that mean you were truly determined to do it? Does that mean you were living in the mode of goodness? If you were determined to do something, devotees, don't let anybody break your determination. You do what you feel is right. You do what you must. It's sustained by steadfastness. I can't even say the word, I'm sorry. Steadfastness by yoga practice. Now, when I say yoga, I don't mean hot yoga, goat yoga, puppy yoga, yoga with carrots and veggie dip, right? I'm talking about yoga, which is meditation, controlling of the mind, controlling of the body. You sustain your determination by controlling yourself, by not allowing external forces to change your mind. The practice of yoga is not just the practice of stretching. It's the practice of controlling your body and your mind and your senses to attain that ultimate goodness in the world. That's what yoga is in this sense. And which thus controls the activities of the mind. Like I just said, life and senses is determination in the mode of goodness. So if we can control ourselves if we can make sure that we're going in the right direction, if we can let nobody deter us from what we need to do, we're living in a mode of goodness. I love to see the children of the Mandir come and tell me about the things that they've done in this in their week. Whether it be in sports, academics, whether it be in video games, whether it be with their friends. I love hearing about the stories of what they're going through in life, because I get to learn so much from it. I didn't really, when you're a kid, you don't pay attention to these things. You really don't. But as an adult, you can go back and appreciate those things that they're saying because you went through that. And now as an adult, because you get to hear it for a second time and have been experienced through it, you get to learn from that situation. But these kids are so determined to get through certain things in their life, and it inspires me at times. The way they do their different sports, the way they achieve academics, the way they're very passionate about their hobbies and crafts. They're determined. But sometimes, devotees, that determination in them gets broken. Why? Because they're still children. Because they're still children. If we decide that we're going to harass them, if we're going to always provide constructive criticism, which is really us just telling them how bad they did, if we continue to not support someone who's doing something they feel is right, something that's good, something that makes them fulfilled in this world, then we're not doing anybody justice. Second off, that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion. So if you're determined to do something to please yourself, to please your senses, you're being passionate. If you're doing it for economic development, and when we say economic development, we're not talking about the growth of a nation or for the betterment of mankind, but economic development of your own personal self, you're in the mode of passion. If you hold fast to the fruitive results in religion, you're in the mode of passion. What is the fruitive results of religion, devotees? What does that mean? Does that mean I'm offering fruit while I'm performing puja? Absolutely not. Fruitive results of religion means that you cannot appreciate the simplicity behind the actual worship. Instead, you make it complicated. You stress yourself out by buying the top-end, top-tier, top-quality things, and if you can't get them, it stresses you out, or the puja's done wrong. If you hold fast to those results of the religion, which is, I'm going to do something and brag about it, I'm only doing it to make me feel good. I'm only doing it because I need to show the adults that I'm not a bad person, then you're doing it wrong. You're living in a mode of passion, because you're holding on to something that you're going to gain from that prayer. And finally, that determination, which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion, such intelligent determination is in the mode of darkness. So what he's saying here is that the mode of darkness is for those who can't go beyond dreaming. They always have thoughts, big ideas, those pyramid schemers that are out there. Yet they're not going to go and attain or try to achieve those goals or dreams. It's the person who always has ideas, but never wants to act on those ideas. It's the person who always wants changes, but never wants to actually make the change. Those are the people that live in the mode of darkness, because you have a determination and you have a goal, yet you're not willing to execute or actually perform the means to achieve that goal. And we see that time and time and again. There's the idea person. And while the idea person's great, the idea person is not living the best life because they're not the one who is attaining and achieving that idea. So, again, Bhagavan Shri Krishna talked about the modes of understanding and determination and the modes of material nature. In verses 36 through 39, Bhagavan Shri Krishna goes on and continues to tell Arjuna a little bit more about everything that we've talked about in regards to happiness. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Sukuntva Edanam Tridham, Srunu Me Bharatar Sabha, Abhyasar Ramate Yatra, Mukhantam Shani Gacchati, Yatar Agre Visamtvana, Yattar agre visam eva pariname mritupamam tatsukam satvikam oktam atma buddhi sadhajam visvayendriya samyogan yattad agrim ritopamam pariname visam eva tat sukham rajasam smritam yad agrichanu bandecha sukham mohanam athamanam mitralasya pramadotam tattamasam udharitam Shri Krishna sharanam mama Shri Krishna sharanam mama Shri Krishna sharanam mama Shri Krishna sharanam mama. In verse 36, Bhagwan Shri Krishna says to Arjuna, O best of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness by which the conditioned soul enjoys and by which he sometimes come to the end of all distress. So what are the three modes of happiness, devotees, by which we as conditioned souls get to enjoy? And how can we relieve distress, remove distress in our lives by following these happiness? Well, he goes on in verse 37 to say that the first mode of happiness, the first kind of happiness that you need to know about, Bhagwan Shri or Arjuna, is something that we will talk about next Sunday during our regular Sunday morning satsang. Prem se Bolo Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Essentially what I've just told you, devotees, is if you want to learn how to be happy as prescribed by the scriptures, you gotta be here next Sunday. There's no going about it. You can also look at it on your own, verses 37 through 39 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. But I highly recommend that you come and tune in next week, as we've got a lot of really good discussion and analogies in regards to what is happiness and how can we attain happiness in our own lives as recommended by the scriptures. Devotees, at this time, I ask that you join together with me as you go ahead and clasp your hands and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, relax your spine, relax your shoulders and your neck, relax your forehead. Clear your mind of all thoughts at this time. And with a clear mind, devotees, and I want you to focus on a form of Bhagwan, any form that you so choose, that's most pleasing to you, one that helps you focus. And join together with me as we chant these closing prayers. Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu Sarvesham Shanti Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Om Sarve Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dugabha Bhave Om Mantrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktihinam Janardanam Yatya Pujitam Maya Deva Paripurnam Tarastu Me Papoham papo karmaham papo atma papo sambhava trahimam pundarikaksham sarva papo haro hari Om tvameva matascha pita tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva vidyandravinam tvameva sarvam mama deva deva Om asatoma satgamaya tamasoma jyotirgamaya mrityoma amritam yamaya Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurue Namaha Om Shanti Antariksham Om Shanti Prithvi Shanti Shantir, Oshadheya Shantir, Vanaspati Shantir, Vishwaneva Shantir, Brahma Shantir, Sarvegam Shantir, Shantireva Shanti Sama, Shantiredi, Hari Om Shanti, Shanti Shanti, Hari Om Tat Sat. Prem se bolo Ganesh Bhagwan ki Jai. Prem se bolo Saraswati Mata ki Jai. Prem se bolo Adi Shakti Durga Mata ki Jai. Prem se bolo Vishnu Bhagwan ki Jai. Prem se bolo Shiva Shankar Bhagwan ki Jai. Prem se bolo Shiva Shakti Mandir ki Jai. Prem se bolo Sanatana Dharma ki Jai. Devotees, with this we have come to the end of our Sunday morning satsang. And I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Before we move on, I know that there's a few of you who are actually actively chatting in our in our chat here for the virtual Sunday morning satsang. So I'd like to say Jai Sita Ram to Auntie Zandra, and Jai Sita Ram to Gita. Gita, I know that you said sorry I'm late. That is not a problem at all. I still want to thank you for being here and for joining us as we continue to perform our virtual Sunday morning satsangs, as well as all of you who are watching live with your families, and for those of you who are watching the recording later on in the day or later on in the week. We appreciate you for being here. In regards to a few events that we've going on throughout the week, devotees, throughout the month, I should say, of August, there's 2 events I want to make everybody fully aware of, or actually I should say 3 events. The first is on Saturday, August 14th. This Saturday, August 14th, is known as Goswami Tulsidas Jayanti. We'll talk a little bit more about that next Sunday during a regular Sunday morning satsang. On Sunday, August 22nd of this month marks a period known as Raksha Bandhan. Again, that is a period of Raksha Bandhan. So for those of you who have a brother out there, or for those sisters over brother, go ahead and get your Rakis ready. Brothers, get your gifts ready, and make sure you spend some quality time with your sibling. And don't make it weird quality time. Don't make it quality time in which you don't want to be around each other and make it miserable. Plan a fun activity, do something, hang out, have a good time. And then for Sunday, August 29th, 2021, that is again the last Sunday of this month, marks the event known as Krishna Janmashtami. And so for us devotees, I know you're going to hear a few different people say it's on Sunday the 29th or it's on Monday the 30th. We will be performing our puja for the Shiva Shakti Mandir on Sunday, August 29th. So for that day, we will not be having Sunday morning service in the morning. It will not be at 10 o'clock in the morning. Rather, we're going to push everything to 6 o'clock at night, and we will be performing a virtual Krishna Janmashtami puja for all of you to tune into. So again, that is going to be at 6 p.m. on Sunday, August 29th. We will not be having regular Sunday morning service that morning, and we will get an email sent out to everybody letting you know those dates and those times as they come along. Just a few announcements from our president and a few announcements for me, myself. Devotees, I've told a lot of you this before. I work for a hospital system, and what we're noticing really heavily right now is the spread of COVID cases throughout the state of Georgia. You're noticing it in places like Florida too, where you're seeing 10,000 new cases diagnosed daily. The Delta variant is very, very, very potent. It spreads very fast. Just because you had COVID in the past does not necessarily mean that you're immune to COVID now. Your antibodies can wear away over time, but it doesn't protect you from different strains of the COVID virus. Think of it like the flu. Every year a new flu shot comes out, and the reason a new flu shot comes out is because the flu itself will mutate and change and infect our system over and over, time and time again. So if you have the ability to vote these, I know it seems very uncertain to do this, and it seems very weird to do this, to have something foreign injected into your body. But if you haven't done so, I highly, highly, highly encourage you to get the COVID-19 vaccine if you haven't done so already. It is going to be your best defense against these strains of COVID that keep continuing to come out. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't spread the disease. It just means that you won't be negatively affected by the disease. It's still up to us as a society and a community to continue to protect one another. Remember in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, what Bhagwan Shri Krishna says is somebody who understands what is right that needs to be done, who doesn't understand what is incorrect, who knows what needs to be done, who doesn't know what needs to be done, that is a person who is good and balanced. It's a person who knows what needs to be done and what ought not to be done. What needs to be done in this case, devotees, and again, this is an opinion of mine, is that we need to get vaccinated. So if you have the ability, I highly encourage you to get vaccinated. If not, then I still highly encourage you to wear your mask. Continue to wear your mask. If you have to go out and about, if you have to be in public, continue to wash your hands, continue to sanitize, and let's work together to make each other safe, to end this pandemic so we can see each other once again. But moving on, devotees, I want to move on to something a little bit lighter and something on happier notes. We do have some birthdays that were celebrated this month. So first off, to my niece Karishma, happy birthday to you, Karishma. I love the fact that your mom posts all the time because it lets me know and lets me see how much you and your brother are growing up. So I hope you were doing well in Texas. I hope you had a wonderful birthday, and a happy birthday to you. My dad wrote Shamu Mamu, but for me it's Shamo Aja. He lives up in New York, my dad's uncle. So to Shamo Aja, very happy birthday to you. I hope you and your family are doing well. To Auntie Chandra Prasad, we want to wish you a very, very happy birthday as well. To Derek Somer, happy birthday to you. To Ray Prasad, or Ray, I can just call him, I don't say Ray Prasad, happy birthday to you. And to one of my best helpers in the entire world, somebody who will come up and do something for me without me having to ask, somebody who will give me a smile and something to think about, or give me something to not be miserable, to make me be happy about what I'm doing when I'm at service or when I'm at home. To Tejas, my little nephew, happy birthday to you as well. We also had a few couples that celebrated anniversaries. So to Sister Mandy and Brother Saif, I haven't seen you guys in a long time. I know you're very busy and you come when you can. To the both of you, I hope you're doing well and very happy anniversary to you both. To Uncle Jagdish and Auntie Ritu, who celebrated their anniversary on Thursday, happy anniversary. I almost said happy birthday. Happy wedding day. Happy anniversary to you both as well. I hope you celebrated wonderfully. To Auntie Ratan and Uncle Mool, happy birthday to you. Not happy birthday. I'm so sorry. Now I'm stuck on the word birthday. Happy anniversary to you both. And finally to Auntie Drew, happy birthday. Oh my goodness, I can't stop saying birthdays. I keep saying the word birthday. Happy anniversary to you as well. And for all of you who are out there who are tuning in, thank you for continuing to tune in. Thank you for staying safe. Thank you for the continued support for the Mandir. For those of you who have donated equipment to make this a realistic thing, I want to thank you for that as well. A lot of the equipment that some of you have donated hasn't actually been put into action yet because we have to install it at the Mandir. But as we get things up and running in the Mandir, we will continue our virtual services going forward and going into the future. But to all of you who are watching right now, to all of you who are listening, I want you to take some time out of your week to make sure that you're checking up on somebody, that you're checking up on yourself, and that you're also talking through whatever may be going in through your mind. Any thoughts that may be negative that you may have, talk to somebody about it, get that support. I guarantee you talking about it will make it that much better. But I want you all to stay safe out there this week, stay happy, stay healthy, and until next Sunday, devotees, we'll see you for a regular Sunday morning satsang. Jai Sita Ram, and thank you all for everything.